This is episode 2 of the Naruto and Akatsuki story. Enjoy watching! Fear.
And now, Sniveler, we'll take a walk so that I can demonstrate the lost strength of my clan and interest the underground world. You can rejoice, because at least some benefit will come from you.
Naruto felt very strange. His body was on fire, and chakra began to come out of him, which caused him pain. Kimochi Ikari covered the cage with the boy with a cloth, and taking it with his hand, went out from behind the trees, and ended up in a small settlement. It was a bright sunny day outside, and the residents went about their business. They were having fun, working. The children were playing with each other, when, suddenly, some of them began to argue. They heard in their heads that they were betrayed. Some heard that someone's wife cheated on someone. Someone stole something, because of which their hearts were filled with hatred. The word kill sounded in their heads. Ikari smiled.
You won't be able to fight these feelings. Do what you want. Kill him.
Suddenly, the inhabitants were consumed by madness. They began to beat each other, grab everything around, piercing the hearts of their neighbors. A sunny day turned into a bloody madness. Naruto screamed as more and more chakra came out of him.
Shut your mouth, puppy. Take a look at this beautiful picture.
Ikari tore the cloth from the cage, and the boy saw horrific scenes of violence. Almost all the inhabitants killed each other. Some of them screamed in anger as they approached Kimochi.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You chose me as your new target. Although, no, I'm having fun. But it seems to me that you cannot bear your rage, because your heart exploded.
Snapping his fingers, he laughed out loud, after which the inhabitants approaching him began to spit blood, and clutching their chests, fell to the ground. Naruto was crying. He was terrified of everything. Kimochi leaned over to the cage and spoke.
Don't whine, brat. You're a demon. It's your destiny. You will bring me a lot of money. With your strength, I will restore the honor of my clan.
A few days later, all countries were talking about the terrible event in the fishing village. The underworld wanted to know what this power was and how it could be used. At the same time, Jiraiya arrived at the Leaf Village, bursting into Sarutobi's office, shouting,
"Old man, how could you let this happen?"
The village elders, who were in the office, told Jiraiya not to dare to break into the Hokage's office, especially when there was a meeting going on.
With all due respect, shut your mouth. The fourth Hokage sacrificed his life, just like Kushina. 4 years later, I am told that the child who became the container of the Nine Tails was beaten by the inhabitants of the Leaf. Where have you been, Sensei?
Danzo interrupted him.
If you were in the village, you wouldn't hear the rumors. If anyone is to blame for everything, it's you. You were Minato's mentor. The responsibility for the boy lies with you.
Sarutobi immediately intervened.
Shut up, Danzo. The meeting is over. I'll ask everyone to leave and leave Jiraiya and me alone.
The elders were indignant but did not argue, and Danzo said that they would return to this conversation. After everyone left the office, Hokage invited his student to sit down.
You think I wasn't shocked by what happened? I couldn't believe it. But we were swindled. Everything was planned. Apparently, this is someone from the Kimochi clan.
Sensei, you understand that we cannot allow a child to have such a fate. There are no excuses. Leaf was supposed to protect him. The boy has no one but our settlement.
Sarutobi turned to the window, looking at the faces of the Hokage.
It was a sad night when I saw that Minato had sacrificed his life and Kushina was holding Naruto as she died. I realized that I had to manage the village differently. The imprint of the Uchiha clan's hatred led to what happened that night.
Late.
Jiraiya protested, slamming his fist on the table.
What a difference now. I offered to pick up the boy when he showed up. You promised that you would look after him, that nothing would threaten him. Minato was like a son to me. That night I lost my family, and you gave me a promise that nothing would happen to the child.
Their conversation was interrupted by a shinobi from the Anbu.
Lord Hokage, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have an urgent message. According to the information we received, a recent incident in the fishing village involved a strange shinobi carrying a blonde-haired boy in a cage.
Jiraiya's fist, which was on the table, broke it completely. Sannin jumped up from his chair with anger in his eyes.
In a cage? This bastard keeps a baby in a cage? I will kill him in the most brutal way I can think of.
The third Hokage told his student to calm down.
Rage won't help find him, and if nevertheless you can do it, then hatred will play into the hands of the enemy. You know that jokes with the Kimochi clan can end badly. You cannot show hatred in front of him, and in general, at least some feelings. Otherwise, you will become his victim.
Jiraiya turned around and headed towards the exit.
I'm not going back to the village until I find Naruto.
Somewhere in the forest, in an unknown shelter.
It was great. So much suffering, so much fear. You, Sniveler, you will see a lot of horror. Thanks to you, I can restore the honor of my clan and return it to its former glory.
Naruto lay in the cage and cried. This angered Kimochi, and he threw a glass bottle at him. Crashing against an iron grate, it injured the boy. Ikari walked up to him and kicked the cage.
I hate snot, so shut your mouth.
Naruto Naruto, frightened, began to cry even more, but then he covered his mouth with his hands. The man praised the boy. Moving away from the cage, he began waving his arms.
You know, some of the strongest in the underground world have already approached me. A certain Kakuzu from some Akatsuki organization. They want to buy you. The village of Stone desires our strength. Some countries are willing to offer me entire settlements for you. Even slippery and smelly Orochimaru addressed me. This bastard has always pissed me off.
Immediately, his arrogance was interrupted by a voice.
My apologies, Mr. Kimochi, but if I were you, I wouldn't say that about Orochimaru-sama.
Ikari turned around and immediately grabbed the stranger by the throat.
Who are you, motherfucker? How did you find me?
The stranger, with a hoarse voice due to choking, whispered that he had come about the Nine Tails Jinchuriki from the great Sanin Orochimaru-sama. Kimochi got even angrier, but he let the guest go. Approaching the cage, he kicked it again, which greatly frightened the boy. Then he sat down on it.
I am listening to you. Your offer, and whether you answer my questions, will determine whether you can get out of here. So, choose your words correctly.
Thank you for being willing to listen to me, Mr. Ikari. My name is Second.
Kimochi frowned, cutting him off.
How do you know my name? How did you get here?
Second apologized for allowing himself to address Mr. Ikari by his first name before explaining everything.
You are a very interesting person, born in the village hidden by mist. Your mother was the last survivor of one of the strongest clans of her time, who was destroyed in the war against the Yamanaka, who allied with the Sarutobi. You grew up like a real shinobi of the village of mist. Already at a young age, you became a jonin and joined the Anbu. Your missions were excellent, but your madness kept you from working as a team. They tried to make you one of the 7 ninja swordsmen, but at that time, you killed all the candidates, and even intended to destroy the Mizukage himself in an attempt to take his place.
Kimochi was on guard, listening to his interlocutor.
Then, you left the village and under a different name, settled in Konoha to restore justice and destroy the Yamanaka and Sarutobi clans. After that, your goal was to capture the Nine-Tail. I think I shouldn't talk about subsequent events.
Kimochi stood up and walked over to Second. Stopping near him, he towered over him, as he was much larger and taller.
Only a couple of people knew all this information, and even so, I killed them all a long time ago. How did you know about this?
Like I said, Lord Orochimaru is capable of learning a lot, and the death of an informant is not a problem for him.
Ikari, with a sharp movement of his hand, cut off his interlocutor's head. Holding it in his hand, he said,
Then let him talk to your corpse.
He then began to laugh as he ate his victim's face. Naruto was so terrified that he couldn't even move. The man turned to him with an insane smile.
Boy, do you want to eat too? Take this.
He tossed the remains of Second towards the cage and laughed even louder. I hope you liked episode 2. You can watch the first one in the end screen or in the description below the video. This is my alternate version of Naruto's story. I'll be waiting for your thoughts in the comments.